Come gather round, sports fans, listen close to the tale of two jokers, Zach and Jake, they're coming at you. You got the stories, the laughs, and all the scores. It's the FlurrySports podcast, ain't nothing like it before. Zach's got the wit, Jake's got the charm. They're talking all things sports, keeping it warm. From football to basketball, hockey to baseball, every episode's a hit, it's a guaranteed ball. So let's get moving, swing to the FlurrySports groove. Listen up and let your worries just snooze. Grab your popcorn, settle in, let's have a blast. With Zach and Jake, the FlurrySports podcast.
Wow. It's got to be the most catchy one that we've had.
We got a contender, folks. We've got a contender. I do have the charm. How are you doing today? I feel great. I want AI to just keep complimenting me.
And I didn't prompt that at all. I just said the podcast is Zach and Jake and blah, blah, blah. And it's, you know what? I'm like, yeah, you're the heart of the show. AI really, really cut through that. This is the most catchy. I've been singing this around my house for the past week.
When insane. That chorus comes back in,
huge.
We're rocking.
Welcome back to the FlurrySports podcast. And dare I say, welcome back to the ranking show, because everyone, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. This first part of the show is a crossover. For those who don't know us, or don't know Jake, I should say.
Yeah, true.
For the ranking show, usually it's myself, Trevor, and Luke. We usually have a special guest on. Today, we are going to be ranking all of the WrestleMania matches. And to do that, I'm bringing on Jake Osman, who is my co-host for the FlurrySports podcast. If you like this, definitely go over there and listen to the FlurrySports podcast. A lot of goofs about sports. And later on in the show, we actually do have a segment with Jake's dad hating on college coaches. It's going to be pretty fun. It's going to be a game. If I win, I'll get $10. So definitely go over there and see if I won or not. But yeah, we're just going to be talking about WrestleMania. Before we get to that, I should say, I guess, the women's college national championship happened, Jake. And congratulations to Iowa for losing, the biggest accomplishment in sports. That's all I've heard about today. Caitlin Clark did everything she could have. Everything there is to accomplish in college sports, she did. So congratulations to her.
Yeah, and congrats to Dawn Staley for congratulating Iowa. I think that was her big accomplishment of that. That was good. It is, you know what? It is one of my favorite sports stories is, can the team with one really great player overcome the team that's better than them in every way? You know, because that was crazy. It's been a while since I've watched a basketball team like Caitlin Clark can score at will, which is fun to watch. South Carolina looked like they were actively trying not to just go on 11-point runs the whole time.
I mean, they're better. I wish anyone knew who won. No one knows who won the game. If you ask most people who won the national championship, they'll probably still say Iowa, or they know Iowa lost. Yeah, either Iowa or not Iowa. But like, who knows? Who knows? Because it was just all Caitlin Clark today still.
I know, which is a shame, because guess who's going to be really good again next year? South Carolina. You know who's not going to be very good next year?
Who?
Oh, guys.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. I did hear a lot today, like, well, if Caitlin had a better team, then she would have won. Okay, fine. Why couldn't they have recruited people to play with Caitlin Clark? Why do you think they couldn't? I understand. It's a shame that the one good white college basketball girl lost. And now we got nothing to talk about. A team that should have won did. But the white girl lost us. We don't care anymore. We don't care.
That's right. And that's why, Zach, we now turn our attention to the big interracial hope. That is right. It is Zach Edey. His time to shine.
Interracial hope. Yeah.
You know, it's not quite catchy, but it is, I believe, ethnically accurate. So I want to start something here. We've given Zach Edey a lot of shit. If you've listened to the show, ranking fans, you don't maybe know this, but we've given him quite a bit of shit. A video has gone around recently that I don't think matters at all. And I don't know why we care. Of him going into a, I believe, normal-sized room that looks like a cabinet.
Oh,
with just
I
a
haven't
girl at
seen
a
it.
party. Have you seen this? It was like Zach Eady caught in the act, and he's at a party with a gal who I believe is his girlfriend. They just go into another room, and everyone's like, "What is he up to?" And I'm like, "I don't know. He's a college student. He's
Yeah.
not like he didn't hit her on the head and drag her into a room. They're just going into a room together. I don't know. Can we just have a fun basketball game?
No, we cannot. We cannot. Everything's a story when the 7'5" guy is. I mean, you're 6'8", and I would say, like,
Um,
where's Jake going? He's
I
walking into that
I
room.
will say, if I could nitpick my own nitpick, I did also hear a lot of people who were like, "Why were they videotaping him?" And I'm like, "I've been random places and been videotaped because how am I going to fit into that door?"
Yeah.
It's the video.
Well, let's see what happens here. For sure.
100%. That was one time I worked in a house construction. Instead of helping me carry something through 2x4s because I had to tiptoe through them, people just took photos of me. I was like, this is incredibly unhelpful. But tonight as we record this, all go UConn. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the game we all wanted, and now we get to see it. So it's it's actually the game neither of us wanted, but here we
No.
are.
No. No. I'm cheering for UConn too. I don't know why people would cheer for Purdue, but
It's a little
it
bit
is
of a
what it is.
redemption story. Plus, UConn just won, so I understand those pieces of it. It's one of those where it's like I hope the game is as good as advertised. It'll be interesting if it out earns LSU Iowa on the
Mhm.
women's side. I think it will, but that was a Friday night and had Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese in it, so we'll see.
I hate the Monday national championship.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch Raw. You know,
Yeah. 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 I'm not into it. And I'm also not into redemption stories, which I think we will find out later in the show. Pretty big redemption story, actually, happened at WrestleMania.
I listen. I don't want to blow up anyone's spot because I think the fun of this show is finding out what people's opinions are.
Yes.
Zach. I could put money on what I think Zach's favorite match was, and it's not right.
um, probably. You probably could. But yeah, so what we are going to be doing today is we are going to be doing a tier ranking of every single WrestleMania match. And this is what we'll preface this with. Usually,
Can I give what WrestleMania 40 match? Right, we're not going through every single
bingo.
mania. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Correct. Yes. WrestleMania 40, the 2-night show that just happened. We're not going through the previous 39 WrestleManias, even though
Jackass match, S tier.
I mean, yeah, that was the best one. Um, Jake is a current wrestling fan, like the everyday wrestling fan, I
Active.
will
Yeah,
say. And I am the old school wrestling fan who has come back, and I pay attention to like some clips on social media, and then I'll watch WrestleMania and I'll watch Royal Rumble. That's kind of where I'm at. Every once in a while I'll dip in and out, but I live through social clips for the most
mhm.
part. So those are the two different mindsets we're talking about here. And then also, I should say, spoiler alert for all of these matches.
Yeah,
If
correct.
you for some reason are a wrestling fan who found yourself on this video and don't want it spoiled, I don't know what to tell you, but we are for sure going to be spoiling every match, I assume.
And maybe telling you which ones you should go back and watch.
Right. If you're maybe an old school wrestling fan who didn't watch live, maybe you watch
Yeah.
college basketball, maybe you don't know if it's worth it, maybe whatever, for sure. We will be giving you the matches you should go specifically watch, and you'll have the perspectives of the casual and the diehard. So if we agree on a match, then, you know, you can take that to
Probably
the bank, I
good.
suppose. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So we got here our tier rankings, and I think I have the matches in order. So let me
Nice.
find my tab. The number one tier, as always, is the God tier. It's going to be hard to get there, but I think some may get there. Then we got a damn good match, a decent match, and then the lowest is meh. And I'm putting meh as the lowest this week because I don't think there's any bad matches. I will say that.
No, I think, and this could be spoilers for what ends up going there. I think there was one I really disliked, and the people involved were also involved on night two, and they had a good night too. So I'm
Sure.
willing to forgive it.
Very fair. And usually we have 3, so it's easy to balance it out. But, if we're on opposite ends of the spectrum or whatever, we will balance and default to the higher one. I'll just say that. Because it's WrestleMania.
Nice.
It's the Monday after WrestleMania. We're being positive. Everything was good. New era, the Triple H era.
Well, and what a good call by you, Zach, because people are listening to this because this is what I do. You enjoyed the show and you want to hear other people enjoyed the show. So let me start there. This is the most fun I've ever had watching a wrestling show. I got to, besides maybe Jackass Mania,
Of course,
which is
yeah.
also where Brock came out of the tractor, I believe. So
Yeah,
that's tough. That's a tough Mania to beat. But and we watched that one together. But this one I watched with friends on night 1 and then watched a lot of stuff back very late night too. So yeah, I can't wait to talk about it because regarded already as one of the best Manias of all time. So I can't wait to get into it.
And I think we'll find this out, but I will just say off the top, I think night 2 head and shoulders better than night 1.
Correct.
And what do you think of the declaring this as the Triple H era? Do you think that was overkill saying it so many times? Do you agree with it? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
WWE is very smart in this way. They're not telling you that because we didn't know it. They're telling you that so that when we guess when they they declared the Attitude Era like a good 6 months, a year into the Attitude Era. So you couldn't go back and watch kind of the shit that started it. It hasn't been
Okay.
all roses since Triple H joined, and I think it's very smart that they're like, now that he has total complete control and he knew the show was going to be a banger, like he booked last year's Mania. Like,
Sure.
so I think it's a little like, I don't know if this is the start of it, but I understand why they're putting the prints on it here because it's going to be so positively received, and what a good positive start for it. I certainly think it's his era. I just don't know if it started today.
Okay. Yeah, that's very fair. Very fair. But let's just start then. Night 1, match 1. We had Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. That was for the women's championship, one of them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll go back and forth with opinions first, I will say. And for this one, I thought this was the best of the women's matches. There were 3, I believe. I thought the wrestling was good, which I think is very, very, very hit or miss with women. The talent that they have currently with women's wrestlers, and that's not a slight on them. They don't make it in on camera very often. So
they're getting better at it, but I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was damn good. I would put it in that second tier. I thought it was a really good match.
I'm glad you're there so strongly on it because I was in between decent and damn good. And I honestly think some of that is I liked night 2 so much more than night 1 that I was like, for this to start night 1, I'm like, but it was killer. I think you could make an argument that the person who was presented the best on either night was Rhea Ripley. I mean, the entrance with the live band, and she just looked like a badass the whole time. And to your point, just a really good match. The reason I was on the line is because this to me was one of the most predictable matches on either night. But awesome. I wish Becky's storyline wasn't I have a book for this match. I was really excited about, but what a good match, as good in the ring as anything on either night, I think.
And again, so Jake has more background on all of these fights, and I have pretty surface level. So I didn't really know the storyline going in. So your criticisms, I'm sure, are fair. Mine was almost solely just the in-ring and entrance.
I like that. Okay. That'll be a good dichotomy because some of these let me down maybe more, or I liked more because of what led up to it. But yeah, weird that she just had a belt that was her book.
Yeah, that is. And I did know she had a book coming in. That is something I was told about somewhere. I don't remember where, but interesting. Oh, I think Mick Foley. Actually, I watched the Mick Foley video. So I went damn good. Where are you at?
I agree. Damn good.
Okay. Next one was the 6-tag ladder match, which coming in, I told Lindsay, who I watched it with, I think this is going to be my favorite match of all of Mania because it was built in a way where it's just going to be complete chaos. And I thought it was pretty good for the most part. Um, I'm a huge R-Truth guy.
Correct. Yeah.
So he won twice, which I think is pretty cool. I'm in between decent and damn good. I'd like to hear what you have to say though.
For me, damn good.
Okay.
I love like goofy over the top wrestling. I was so excited about thinking back about how much more I like night 2. I like this show start a lot. The
Mhm.
hot tag and pin spot is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really liked the stipulation. I liked that there were 2 separate things people were going for. I really liked the spot where after I thought it was weird how quick one of the belts got won. So,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I think the match took a while to warm up, but I like that once A-Town Down Under won the first belt, we had that moment where they stopped a different team from winning. I was like, "Oh my god, New Day's gonna win," and they came back, which I was like, I didn't even think about them still being involved. So I thought
Mhm.
that was well booked, and there were some spots where I'm like, this is fucking killer.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think like a normal ladder match where there's as many crazy spots, but for me, damn good simply because R-Truth winning is like incredible. That was really really good. Yeah, I to me, it's better than decent because I would rewatch it.
I would too. I would too. To your knowledge, have they done a match like this before? The both tag titles and ladder?
No, no.
Okay.
And did it specifically to split the belts. They've never done it, and to my knowledge, in this way. This is the first time this type of match has ever happened.
Cool. I mean, that's honestly a cool thing too. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like the structure, rules, whatever you want to say. Okay, so this next one was the Mysterio tag team with 2 other people that I didn't know. Um,
correct.
what's your thoughts on this one?
Well, I had more fun with it than I thought I would. It had
Mhm.
I my thoughts, because I'll be comfortable sharing them as someone who's watching it. This was thrown together at the last minute. I mean, they subbed out Lee um, for Andrade, which I liked because I thought Andrade came over the best in this match. I thought he looked so good.
Yeah.
So I like that, but I like Ray and Dominic haven't been feuding all year. They started up again like a few weeks ago. So not a ton of build. I thought they gave it pretty decent on SmackDown, and I loved that this was the spot where they got Jason Kelsey involved.
Mhm.
Was funny, and that was a good ending, but not it. I was expecting this to be meh, and for me, it was decent.
Yeah, I think I'm around meh to decent as well, so we'll put it in decent. It just yeah, it just didn't seem like well, it's also tough because we just came off of 2 championship matches and there really
Yeah,
wasn't anything on the line and it just felt that way and I didn't know there was no storyline truly coming in other than I've seen Ray and Dominic fight in the last
right.
2 pay-per-views I've seen, which are the only 2 pay-per-views I've seen in the past year, I guess technically. Um so yeah, it just seems like we haven't gone anywhere with that story, which is weird.
And I feel like they could have gone more fun. Like, it's
Yeah.
like I feel like they played it a little too balanced. Like, if you were gonna have 2 Philadelphia Eagles come out of luchador masks and they slingshot the one guy 50 feet, like,
Yeah.
let's do it the whole time. Like, let's have a stipulation. I mean, and maybe I'm comparing it to a match I think we're gonna like a lot more on night 2, but I
Yeah.
think you could have had more fun with it. So, I agree for where it's at. I'm interested if we agree in our opinions on this next one, which, is brother versus brother, Uso versus Uso.
Yeah, so the Usos fought again. I very slightly know the storyline. I knew one of them left the bloodline, and that's
Yeah,
about all I truly know. And I mean, the Lil Wayne entrance is cool. I liked that.
yeah.
Um, I really are they leaning really hard into the whole yeet thing like that. I didn't like that. That just
They're
seems super
really
lame.
well, the crowd got really into it, so now it's his whole thing.
Yeah, that seemed lame. This seemed like the most Mickey Mouse
Yeah.
sort of thing. I don't like these are like the elementary schools uh wrestlers, it felt like this one wasn't for me. This one was for the elementary kids who are still up watching. So I thought this was decent. I don't think it was bad. A lot of kicking. they really like their kicks.
Yeah.
That's about it for me.
I mean, the background narrative I would give is I feel like the talk online is that this match ruined night one.
Really?
Really
Okay.
poorly well received. Very, I don't know why I threw the word well in there. Very poorly received.
Yeah.
um, uh, I think to me, the most disappointing part is the story was, I feel like they had to pick an angle. I feel like they didn't make the story here as good as it could have been because I don't think they wanted to take away from the other bloodline stuff, which I
Sure.
understand. I don't know then why you just have them spamming the same two moves
Yeah.
over and over again. It did feel like in the video games when you try and make two tag team wrestlers fight each other and they only
Yeah.
knew 5 moves. Like I'm like, why do I feel like your overall is 82? Like, why do you feel like you don't
Yeah.
know as much as this other character? So I just thought they were going to come in and get really creative with it. It didn't feel particularly heated. My hope is that the next time we see them, it's like first blood or just like something more intense than like,
Yeah.
that's my only hope is they were saving stuff for next time. Uh, I am with you probably fairly. I don't think it's bad. I think it's meh because I did laugh at parts of it and I was pumped that Jay won. So I think they did that part good. And I care about it. I just think they could have done it better. So for me, it's a meh.
I'll actually change mine to meh then. Um, the way you're talking, it did completely remind me of if you're playing Street Fighter with your friend and you both pick the same character and it's just kick, 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 kick,
Yes.
kick, kick, kick. That's all it was. It was, yeah, yeah. It wasn't great. Next one was the 3v3
Yeah.
women's match. There was no stakes, right?
No stakes. Kind of the stakes were like the one team damage control is EO's entourage. So it was like, we're going to fight you so the numbers don't get in the way of the other match tomorrow night. So I think is kind of the thing. Like we're fighting back against the bad guys. Uh, yeah. What were your thoughts here? The shortest match maybe on either night, I think. Felt that way?
Prob Yeah, I would say so. I think this was probably my second least favorite match of the entire 2-night card. It was just pretty boring for the
Mhm.
most part. Nothing really happened. And as soon as they said something about how Naomi would be like the most winningest woman wrestler in WrestleMania history or something,
Yeah.
it feels like, oh, this is her make right from the shit that happened before.
Mhm.
So, um, I thought it was decent. It for sure wasn't bad. There was some okay spots, but it seemed very one note. There weren't really very many highs in this one.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I think it's decent. I don't think they were given a lot. Like I said, it was quick. It was also clearly the most predictable match. Like, I think that speaks volumes that you picked up on Naomi's pieces being predictable. Cause to me, that was like, she was the least obvious winner, and she was still obvious because Bianca is undefeated at WrestleMania.
Oh,
And very not secretly they're like, let's give her an Undertaker run. So I think
sure.
we've got that in our future, uh, probably. And so they wanted to keep that ball rolling. And Jade is new and is like the thing I think they
Yeah.
tried to put over in this match. So for all of those reasons, it was very obvious. I wish they could have done more. This was another one where it's like, now that I'm seeing it through, I guess this isn't, you can't really call this a criticism because they just didn't do it. Uh, None of the matches all night besides the ladder match really had a stipulation. This could have been, but they probably just didn't want to give it more time, but make this like a tables match or something. Like, I think that would have been
Hmm.
pretty fun. All the women involved, to your point, the reason for me it's decent, I came out liking some of the women involved more. So I'm like, they didn't do much, but it's like, I think Jade's kick ass. I really
She's
am.
strong.
Yeah, she's strong. And I, the only thing I left was like, I can't wait for her and Bianca to go at it. I think that feud is going to be just who can hold each other in the air the
Yeah.
longest amount of time, which I'll be here for. So I will say though, I now think we are through all of the matches that I would call like not good, which I'm excited about, I think.
Interesting, because we have one next that we will for sure disagree on. We have
Wow, that's right. Oh, I totally forgot about this. Yeah, we're gonna hard disagree. Okay, let's go.
yeah, okay. So we have the Nazi versus the Muppet in Gunther versus Sami Zayn. Boy, I if neither person could win this match, that would have been great.
Yeah, you're not in
Um,
on either of these. I didn't even think
no,
about that. Yeah,
like I don't understand Gunther. Like truly,
so
he's just
funny.
a Nazi. That's all. That's his character, and he just slaps people.
He's a bad
Um,
guy.
neither of these guys are particularly interesting to me. Like in terms of like wrestling style, in terms of personality,
Yeah,
and they tried to put Sami Zayn over really hard, obviously in the like the entrance thing. So you know, I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was decent. It wasn't bad by any means, but it was just slow moving slaps until Sami Zayn had his Hulk Hogan moment. That's about it.
spasms. I will say one thing that I do love listening there, because if any wrestling fans are listening, I think one, you just don't like Gunther, and I love that.
No.
You've been consistent in it. He's not your dude. I appreciate that you've been like first time we saw him, you're like, nah, I'm out. Which I like. I think he
Sorry, I
probably
took a history class before.
that's
I
right.
heard what the Germans did.
I think he's probably the wrestler on the whole roster you miss the most by not watching weekly, only
Okay.
because he truly, I don't know if has a character beyond he wrestles every week and I just don't know how you beat him. Like I think that's the story is like he's big and he's bad and he takes this thing really seriously. Which I will say, I'm just bummed this match wasn't built more. I'm with you that
Mm.
suddenly Sammy's wife and kid were in the back, and it's like, this is
Yeah.
do or die. And I'm like, why is it do or die? You won this opportunity like a month ago, maybe. So I like that we get new stuff from Gunther now, and hopefully stuff that you're into more. We'll find out. But uh, I think Sammy deserved it. But his character a year ago to now is kind of sad to me. He was so like must watch with the bloodline stuff. He was the best part of that, and like
Mhm.
he didn't have that in here. And I think you could have done that if you just had more build. For me, I'm fine with it landing in decent. I would have put it damn good simply for the in-ring stuff. I know that it was all big build, but and I've always kind of thought this with you and Gunther. I think Gunther does a good job on making you boo just with moves. And I thought he did a good job here of like going out, mocking the wife, coming back in, like not taking
Yeah.
it seriously. And then I honestly thought like the end sequence was killer. I thought the brain buster on the apron and everything else was really good. I think they're pretty clearly also saving something for a follow-up. But all that
Okay.
said, I'm totally fine with it landing in decent and excited to I feel like this main event is going to get lost in the shuffles of time a little bit with what happened night 2. I think. But I'll be curious what you think about our main event of night 1. It's Seth and Cody versus the Bloodline, Rock and Roman.
Yeah. So um I think The Rock had a couple of okay moments in this match, but truthfully, like there's zero stakes. There were like it was the biggest nothing of a match.
Very
It was
predictable.
very
They were going to
predictable,
win. Yeah,
so slow to start.
I
Um,
know. Do you think the second half made up for it? I I
it,
don't know
it
why
didn't
they
make up for
started
it. It for sure
so
got better
slow.
though.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was so slow. The Rock expressing like his power, I suppose. Like
Yeah.
I like him leaning into I'm the owner of the company essentially. I think that's fun. That's a good bit.
Well,
That's a good
he's so entertaining. I mean, everything he
yeah,
said to Cody's mom, and I mean, that's the
yeah,
clip I think that's been making the most rounds. But him telling the ref, "If you count, you're fired,"
yeah.
is great. And I liked for me the reason I'd say it's damn good is I
Yep.
do think the ending gets it there for me, and I think the big reason why is I like that Roman didn't get a pin either night. I like that they built
Mm.
up, they saved The Rock, but they also let him get the shine. And I thought that was very smart booking. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I end of night one, I would have called this decent. And now that night two is passed, I'm like, good build, good setup. Because they did everything like Seth being banged up after this match mattered, and Cody getting pinned by The Rock and looking yeah, like that made night two, I think, more dramatic. I think you could have gone there differently, but for me, it's damn good. But I'll be interested what you think here.
I thought it was meh. It was one of my least favorite of the night, I think.
I think we go decent then. I
Yeah.
think that's fair. Because I think for me, I'm definitely more stuck on the booking side of like I like that we got this match instead of what they wanted to do, which is Rock Roman. But
Sure.
the match itself, I think it's fine that it's decent. And this is the match I'm most excited to see a rating on out of the whole show, which is the match one of night two.
Yeah, match one of night two, and I think we take everything into account.
100%
So
cash in. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, so Drew McIntyre fought Seth Rollins for the championship. And again, big spoiler alert. Um, afterwards, what was trending on Twitter as bisexual Undertaker came out and cashed in and got the championship. Um, over if it was cut off just before the cash in,
Yeah.
I think I hated it. To be completely honest.
Yeah, I think that's fair. For sure decent
Yeah,
at the most, you know.
like there are some okay spots, but to your point about the tag match, which was cool that Seth, got hurt and it
Yeah.
mattered, it just made the wrestling worse though too.
Correct. I almost think with what happened, I don't know if Seth needed as much offense as he got. I think this whole thing could have been a little shorter.
Hmm. Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, it is hard to just separate that first piece, isn't it? Yeah,
I I I think I hate Drew McIntyre. Truthfully, and I used to like him. I think he's talented. I just hate his character right now a lot.
yeah, I think it's about to change based on the end of this match because I think he got his comeuppance.
Yeah, like CM Punk was in the announcer table for night two the whole time, right?
Nope, just this match.
Oh, just this match, and then he was there for the end. I guess he came out or whatever.
Correct. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I hate. I side with CM Punk so much with the
Yeah.
McIntyre shit. Like it feels really annoying. Like every time he's like, you're obsessed with me. Like, bro, my name's on your t-shirt. Like you just the whole take a picture of this, like being with CM Punk being in the picture. I hate that. I hate everything about it. So
Did you like him
um
tweeting mid match? Because I loved it.
that was very funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see that till today though.
Yeah. Bored
Um
at work. LOL.
yeah, and then fuck. Um
Yeah, it's good.
I would put it in decent, I think.
Wow. Okay. I pretty comfortably am going to be in damn good. Because I think this is one watching the weekly stuff, and maybe this will make you feel different about it. I think the story going in, I just love that the story coming in was everybody was right and everybody was wrong. Like
Mm,
Seth's thing coming in is I can do it all, and both sides are equally as important to me. But clearly, as we saw by the end of the night, costing Roman was more important. Uh,
yeah.
Drew, whole point was you're not taking this seriously. It's gonna like one hurt our moment and like hurt my moment, and people won't give me as much credit. And two, it's gonna cost you because you're not focusing on the person in front of you. And all of that happened, and then Drew also wasn't focusing on the person in front of him. And I love that someone said this today, and maybe that just stuck with me. I love that Drew could have just been happy and left. But of course he wasn't
Mm,
because his whole character is he's a bitter whiner. So he had
yeah.
to like say one more word. And that's like what cost him. I think it's great that Drew cost himself his moment and not Seth And somehow, without wrestling, Punk being up on top was really good. I will also say,
Mhm.
to the point of the wrestling not being great, I thought the wrestling was decent, and I did not think you could get me to care about a Damian Priest cash in, and I am now like excited of where that goes, knowing that we have to get it on Punk.
Right.
And very specifically have to get it on Punk before they go to Glasgow. Where that has to be where we're going now, is we're gonna get a McIntyre face turn, and it's gonna
Ooh,
be McIntyre Punk.
gotcha.
But perhaps I'm more excited about that than everything. But I guess my short reason why it's damn good, I was immediately more excited about night two after this match. Like, we got a cash in, we got like these cool
Sure.
story moments, and I was like, let's go. We're like ready to rock.
I think this will be a theme, but truthfully, like everything on night two, it just felt like bigger, which is like what WrestleMania should be. It didn't feel like WrestleMania night one to me. And the fact that we're ending with a match that had zero stakes and zero and kind of importance because we knew the opposite would happen the next night. Like it just felt weird. It didn't feel like WrestleMania on night one.
I agree. I think they
We didn't
over
even have like big
responded.
entrances.
No, why were the entrances so meh all weekend? They need better entrances, they need better music. I thought that was
Yeah.
pretty apparent the whole time. I will say I think they over course corrected, so I can't wait for next year. The last two times they've done this two-night thing, night one was way better than night two. So I
Hmm,
think
okay.
I think they held everything back, so that was clearly not going to be the case. And I'm excited for next year where they just like don't care about that and
Yeah.
go for it. I would also say, if that's actually what they were going for, people would have liked night two more last year if they had gotten the ending they wanted. So
Sure.
I think that's really all you had to do. But I agree. And I think it shows that, because in this next one, talk about nothing being on the line, but it being a blast.
One last thing about, or two last things about this past match, and part of it's this and the very end. I thought the little things CM Punk did during the night made me like him more. Like I thought he was really good for
Correct.
WrestleMania in the company. And then two, this match had one of my favorite ongoing bits of, if you hit somebody with a brace, it's the most deadly weapon of all time, which I think is very fun.
That was really
Um,
good. I will say the other thing that made me think of, three characters. I know you said you hate Drew. I'm invested in all three people leaving it.
sure.
Which, and I guess four if you count Priest. So I think that's a success in that too. But now we
Okay.
move on, Zach, perhaps to
Yeah.
the most anticipated match of the night.
Okay. So the Philadelphia street fight with Street Profits and other people. Don't know who the other people are. Honestly,
Yeah,
don't know.
the Testament. Yeah.
But I bet, was it known that Bubba Ray Dudley was gonna be the fucking guest ref?
They announced it here.
Holy shit. I was so excited. I was very, very excited for this. Couldn't have been a better pick. Couldn't have been a better pick. Um,
What a
that,
smart, this match had literally no one cared about this
sure.
match. And to just put all of this fun shit in it was
Yeah.
so smart.
The Dudley boy spots, so good. That in terms of individual moments, the Dudley boys spots in this one were probably my highlight of the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
It was it was for sure an old school nod, but putting the glasses on, so funny. That oh god, it was so good. So good. I will say, learn to set up a fucking table. I was losing my mind.
The
It
table gave
really
up on
irritated
him,
me.
man. That's not their fault. The table gave up on him.
No, like you can see the leg folding in. I'm like, lock the damn leg. It's gonna happen again. It almost happened again. Um, I mean, without the Bubba Ray doing stuff at the end, it was not a good match. I'll put it in decent. I'll be fair. I'll put it in decent.
Oh, why are you being? No, it's damn good.
Okay, fine. It's damn good. It's damn good. It's got Bubba Ray Dudley. What are we talking about?
Think of what this match is versus night one. This match
True. That's true.
was a filler. And what a fun, like, that's the reason this match is, I think, maybe the biggest reason why night two, this being, I think, the worst match of the night for me anyway, is so
Okay.
telling.
Sure.
Or whatever match you pick, like you might have a different one lower, but I think your lowest match this night is so much higher than the lowest match on night one. I
That's
think
fair.
that's the big difference. So for me, like, damn good. I'd watch that match again today, you know?
I almost did actually. That was so fun. It was a fun match. Okay, next one we got coked out LA Knight versus AJ Styles. He was like he needs to calm down
He
a
does
little
need to
bit.
go down.
Um, what's your thoughts on this match? I'm interested to know your thoughts.
I was pleasantly surprised because the build for this, I think, was another one people didn't super care about. Like, I think it had all the feeling of like LA Knight needs something to do. I guess AJ Styles doesn't like him. There was a home invasion, which I always love in a wrestling storyline. But
Yeah.
uh, I could watch LA Knight wrestle a broom. Like, I know he's coked out, but for me, this was, I would say, decent. Like, I think it was not as fun as the other one. It was a better match. So, like, if you go higher, I would understand that. But this is the one where I'm like, they're gonna do this match 3 more times. It was a good starter. Uh
Mhm.
yeah, for me, this is a skip and a rewatch. So it was decent. But for what I thought I was gonna get, I think it really overachieved.
Yeah, I'd put it in decent too. I thought it was, it didn't. I can't remember most of the spots in that match. I would say like pretty much anything from it. It was fine.
No.
It was okay. Then we got that triple threat match for the USA title, Logan Paul with a pride bottle, which I was excited to see again. Like, who's it going to be this time?
Yeah.
Randy Orton, who even Lindsay was like, I think Randy Orton's my favorite wrestler. I thought he was great.
He's
Me and
having
Kevin
the
Owens
run
was
of his
great.
career. I
He's
like someone
great.
said this. He almost had to retire because of his latest injury. And I think he's come back and been like, I love wrestling.
Yeah.
And it's so fun.
Starting with the entrance of Kevin Owens putting that some bitch in reverse and getting Randy to hop on the back was so fun. That was
Just a
such a good
couple
spot.
buddies going to
Yeah.
beat up a bad guy. And Randy, on one hand, being the coolest guy there and also so clearly very old was
Yeah.
funny. Like him giving Kevin Owens the slow down sign coming down the ramp.
Yeah.
Like he
Yeah.
was not okay. He was like, whoa, 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 we're flying.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I like barking and I show speed. I like legitimately like kicking him. That made me very
Oh, he
happy.
sent him. That was
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah.
And then Logan Paul with the douchiest awesome truck. Um, yeah,
And the
what's your thought?
wrestling was good. Like
Wrestling was very good. Three
very
good
good.
wrestlers.
Yeah. I hate Logan Paul, but I think in the way they want me to.
Correct.
Like I hate that he's this good at this thing that he's just picked up in his spare time.
Yeah.
And what a finish. What a good finish with the RKO reversal and then Logan just sliming his way to a win. So,
Mhm.
and we didn't even mention they gave Kevin the same Sammy treatment, like he came out for a pep talk first.
Yeah.
Uh
Yeah, that was weird. Uh,
I liked it. I liked it. I thought it was weird that they followed that up with him getting his go-kart.
yeah, yeah. That's true. It was like a reveal. They didn't show him getting it, I don't think.
Yeah.
Um I I mean, this is either my favorite or second favorite match, I think. Um it's between God tier and damn good for me. I really enjoyed it.
I did too. I say you'll make that decision because tie goes to the highest score, so that's up to you. For me, it's damn good, and my reason is it was predictable. For me
Sure.
anyway. With more knowledge coming in, like uh, SummerSlam's going to be in Cleveland, where Logan Paul's from,
Mm.
so that was going to be there, and he wasn't going to drop it in a triple threat. But I could see it going higher. Like I liked that they made it like, no, we're not really fighting amongst ourselves. We're
Yeah.
kind of just kicking your ass the whole time. And he got the better of him anyway. I thought it was very good. I don't like to me, I'm gonna save God Tier for like one of the best matches I've ever seen. That'd be like my criteria. So, but this would be a great match on any Mania for me.
Yeah, I thought it was super super entertaining in terms of entertainment. Like the Dudley spot was great, but it dipped off for. I mean, the first half was
Yeah.
bad. This one was awesome the entire time. So, in terms of this tier, for sure my favorite.
Yes.
Then we get this one. Bailey versus somebody. Who
Io.
was it? Io. This was my least favorite match.
We're
Really
gonna disagree on this a lot. Okay, sounds good. Go for it.
Obviously not a big wrestling fan. Don't really know all the storylines. Every time I see her, I don't know why people like Bailey. I don't
Yeah.
understand. I just don't. It doesn't click for me. I understand why people like Gunther. I just think those people are wrong and should read a history book. With Bailey, I don't get it. Is she Egyptian? What was that entrance? That was weird.
I don't get the entrance. I'm with you on the entrance. I don't get it.
I just don't think Io is the other person. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Too much Yoko Ono energy. I can't do it. Too much screaming like Yoko.
I love her character. I think it's so fun. I think every roster needs that. It gives me such Tajiri vibes.
It is Tajiri vibes. For me, it's very clearly meh for me. I really don't like it.
I'll just be honest with where I was at, and then we'll have to figure out where it goes. I mean, I think I know where it ends up landing. I was sincerely in between God Tier and Damn Good.
Really?
And some of it is this is also what you're saying about Bailey makes so much sense. I've never thought of it that way. For I think wrestling fans, Bailey is like she is like maybe one of the most wasted potentials in the Vince era because in NXT, she was like the babiest of baby faces. Like she was hugging kids and came out with these wacky inflatable arm things, and crowds were chanting like they were that night. And they came up to the roster and just didn't know what to do with her. Like everyone was like, she's the most popular women's wrestler of all time. And they were like, I guess we'll just put you in tags and like not do anything. So she had to turn heel like under the Triple H regime and like got herself back over and got this push and like has never been given a moment. So that was like the story against someone she brought back into a stable. So I thought the story could have been better, but I thought it was there. That's why I think I wouldn't put it God Tiers because the story would have been there. I think for me, but all the stuff you're saying makes sense. The part I do have a question for you. I really thought you would like the wrestling more because I thought for me the reason it was between the line. I think in ring this might be one of the best women's matches I've ever seen. I just thought they did such a good job in the ring, like telling that story of like Io is a killer and like she just was too intense. Like Bailey just outgamed her. Which I liked that Io at the end was just spamming finishers. I liked that she was flipping out of things. I thought it was a really good story. To me, I liked it more than the Rhea Becky match, but I can get that being a toss up. But so that is why I've got it as high as I do. But I think to meet in the middle, we should put it in decent.
Well, you said you're between God Tier and Damn Good, so I'm going to let you decide if you think it's fair to put in decent or fair to put in Damn Good. You're the wrestling. You're one of the wrestling community here.
I'm damn good. It's damn good. I thought it was bold of you to say that Rhea Becky was better. I don't know if that has been the discourse. So I think not that this is what we should base it on, but just for your knowledge, you know, because it's always good to know. I think this has been talked about in online and the things I've been reading and listening to today as like, was this the best match of Mania besides the main event?
Really?
So
I got bored. I had to get up.
I think that's fair. But would you also agree these are the two people you knew the least about? Besides maybe the jobbers with Bubba Ray.
I still don't know who fought Street Profits.
For sure.
No, because I've seen both of them weren't they in the same thing before?
Correct. They were in the I get what you're talking about. Yeah, they were in the same chamber match before. Okay, I'm with you. Now, here's the real question on how high does this last one land? I mean, is really what we're talking about. So it is the main
Yeah.
event. Cody finishes the story. If you're a wrestling fan, you don't know that. I don't know what you did in the last 24 hours, but there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, he, just to give a quick rundown, I guess, for folks who didn't watch it or just want to know, uh, it was Bloodline rules following the tag match the night before. So they started one-on-one, and then once Cody started to get a little bit of an upper hand, all shit literally hit the fan. I think the order of it went Jimmy runs out. Then Jay runs out and did something cooler than either of them did on night one, and
Yeah.
spews him off the stage. Then I thought they did such a good job with Solo. Solo comes out and looks like he's gonna like single-handedly win the match for Roman. Cody somehow kicks out of what cost him last year. Then Cena comes out like a cameo from a different movie. And he beats up Solo, puts everyone through tables and stuff. Rock comes out. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this, because especially on like Rock, because Rock comes out and him just cussing the whole way down is great. And he beats up Cena in a very cool moment. And then who had this on their bingo boards? Not broken glass, but a gong goes out. We get the Undertaker,
Hell yeah.
fresh from a bike ride. He choke slams. Well, technically, before Taker, we had Seth. Seth comes out. He gets intercepted by Roman and then kind of stays there for a second. But then we've got the Undertaker stuff. So now it's just Roman, Seth, and Cody. And in the moment, I think people are talking about most and freaking out about online because it's such good storytelling. Seth was in his Shield gear, and instead of hitting Cody with a chair, Roman chooses to rub salt in an old wound, hit Seth, and then Cody has enough time to reverse a spear, hit the moves, and go home happy. So he wins kind of clean in the least clean match of all time. So I know what I think about it, but I'm most curious about what you think about it.
I think there's a couple of things they could have done a little better. But
yeah,
I mean, I went in cheering for Roman. I will say that. Like I don't think Cody Rhodes is interesting in the slightest bit. But they did such a good job where I feel like even the people who were like in favor of Roman at the end were like super happy for Cody. Like I think they did a great job there. I think it is kind of important that they included his wife. Like I think that was a big deal.
Correct.
I thought that was cool.
And his mom.
Dude, I was hoping Undertaker would choke slam that bitch. That's what I was hoping for. I'm not a Cody Rhodes. Mama Rhodes needs not a fan.
You're a believer in The Rock. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All of it was good. All of it was great. I like The Rock saying get the fuck out of my rig. I love it all. I love it all. The Undertaker spot, I understand. Wasn't there a thing where like they wanted Stone Cold and they couldn't come to an agreement or something to get him?
That's the latest report, is that he was a fill-in.
I think it's better with the Undertaker. I understand like the history with Stone Cold. It would have been cool. Just another entrance and another like big like rundown and stuff like that. I just think would have taken too much time and like momentum away.
I also think it would have been more about The Rock. Like
That's true.
Austin Rock is just about those two. It like overshadows everything else. Whereas the Taker gong was random enough that it kept me hype. Like I was like, what the hell is going on? Like and I am so curious if it was a fill-in or not. Because I think people were just like, oh, it's good. But I mean, it'd been better if they got Austin, but it was good. And I mean, Roman faced Undertaker. And was his last match. So now, did they say that at all on commentary? No. So I don't know if that was the reason they did it. I think there's enough there that you can be like, yeah, the Undertaker doesn't like anybody involved. He was ruined for Dusty's kid. It's
the way I took it?
How'd you take it?
The way I took it was like there's almost no Vince guy more than the Undertaker. And I thought it was cool that it was kind of like passing the torch almost, and like getting the validation, getting everything. I thought it
Yeah.
was like pretty. That was pretty cool. Some pretty symbolic.
I like someone said, and it could be as simple as this. Well, I heard two theories that I know you'll like. This one that was serious, and I kind of like it, which is even taking everything back. If the whole thing is, yeah, Rock is this past generation of like, this is my ring, I run the show, whatever. The Undertaker would not like that. Like, so it's just a character thing
Mhm.
of like he's always that is what the Undertaker has done for the past 30 years, just kind of
Yeah.
shown up and been mad about people saying things. What do you mean? It's my yard, and then hits him. So I
Yeah.
like that. I saw someone online being like, no one hates Paul Heyman more than the
That's true.
Undertaker. He came out to cost Brock's boy.
Yeah.
So I love that. I will say that if the only detriment of a match is I can think of someone I wish would have ran in more, I don't know if
Sure.
that's a con. Like I loved that it was the Undertaker. Who's not happy to see him? Like
True.
everyone has said Austin. I really think in my heart of hearts, if it wasn't for recent allegations, that would have been Brock.
Probably.
Because
We get Brock
Brock,
next Mania though in Minnesota.
correct. I also think that's why they didn't announce Mania yet. I think they're gonna let it cool down and then have Brock
Sure.
announce it. But Brock faced Cody. That was his last feud, and Cody kind of got past him. Like that was Brock's last thing, was like he gave Cody the stamp of approval. He hates Roman, and he's still pissed at Heyman. Like I
Mhm.
think Brock's music hitting and his stupid grin and his cowboy
That would
hat
have been awesome.
as he came down to just ruin things
Yeah.
would have been great. And very Brock, by the way, of like, if I'm not
Yeah.
happy, no one is. So and apparently not that far off from his real life persona. Allegedly. But so all that to say, sure, could have been someone else and it would have been awesome. For me, I can't think of a part of the match. I was surprised. I watched it again today, and I was surprised by how much I liked the wrestling
Yeah.
like the whole time. Like Cody is damn good in the ring. Like, and to your point, when it was so clear they wanted Cody to win, I don't know how Roman got me to root against him. But he did. And I thought they played to perfection. So for me, it can't be like it might be the best Mania match I've ever watched. So for that reason, it's God tier for me.
I mean, yeah, it for sure is God tier. I wish when Undertaker disappeared, and it seemed like everybody who came in disappeared as well, but they were just laying outside and they like popped up a
Yeah.
little later. If everybody disappeared, would have been incredible. I think that would have been really, really, really good.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
like it only for the sense that I like we got the Seth moment.
We got the
Um,
SNL after the show credits rolling moment. Yeah.
that was wild. How long they kept the camera on was wild. The only thing I wish they did with the Undertaker, I don't think Undertaker interacted with Roman at all. I would have liked that a little bit because it felt like a fill-in. So I understand why people are saying that because it was like we need somebody. Ding.
Yeah.
Like it's just like he owes me money.
I,
So
I just wish there was one more thing. Like I texted you, Priest should have cashed it in. Like as they're like accepted, like
correct.
Cody's doing his huge thing. I wish he cashed it in. And it could have just been everybody in the ring being the shit out of him then. I think that's funny. Obviously it takes the moment away from Cody, but that would have been funny for me. I also would have liked another Undertaker gong, like while everyone's excited and then everyone freaking out.
Now you
And
owe
he can
me
just
a match. Yeah.
well, that or just turn the lights off, turn them back on, and then he's just in there happy for Cody. That's fun.
That is, yeah, that's the only way he transports is in the
Yeah.
dark.
Yeah.
He's camera shy. I do like that. Talk about small geeky things I like as a wrestling fan. As much as I liked your pitch of like Priest comes out in the midst of all of that, so smart of them, and they did it for a bunch of reasons. So smart of them to get the cash in out of the way.
For sure.
Because as all of that stuff is happening, of course you're like, where's Priest? Like, so the fact that it was done and it was
Yeah.
like, now we don't have to worry about the fact that everyone in this match was murdered,
Yeah.
was very smart. because I wouldn't have thought of that. And it's like, yeah, that would have been an issue afterwards of like, where the hell was Priest when Cody got hit by 7 Samoans and a dead man came down to
True.
kill people. So thought it was good. But overall, I mean, I think it's going to be remembered as one of the best pay-per-views of all time because they paced it right. As boring as night
Yeah.
one was, it wasn't supposed to overshadow night two. And by the way, same as last year, I can't remember what matches were on each night. So that's not how it'll be remembered. It'll be remembered as like, oh yeah, that match wasn't good. They'll remember the matches they like and won't remember what nights they were on.
That's fair. That's definitely fair.
Yeah.
If I had to do another like little critique, I just don't like how it just felt like, and it's so dumb. It's really small, but like everyone on night one who fought essentially was included again in night two, and they're like all fresh and ready to go. You know what I mean? Like it's so small, but like it's
that's
weird.
A good wrestling nitpick though. The only one where that really bothered me is again, I thought Seth should have got killed, especially doing what they did. I like the idea that the only thing that cost McIntyre is his own hubris. I think they could have hammed that up. I especially think in hindsight, you don't need Seth to look strong when he looks like the genius who unraveled Roman.
Right.
I
I think
yeah.
CM Punk stuff in the SNL credits thing, like
Yeah.
putting over Cody, I think that was cool. And I don't even understand all the dynamics there. It just felt like that was a big moment.
Yeah, I like that CM Punk is so likable, and you know he's up to everything. Like I don't trust him at all. I love how
No.
they've played this of like he's saying nice things and he'd stab everybody in the back for a belt and
Yeah.
or for a podcast. And I think that's a good quality to have. What I'm most excited about, and you touched on it, I think this is the best I've felt about like they always kind of do okay on like the men's main event scene. Like you didn't like the Gunther Sammy match at all. A lot of people did. It was not my favorite, but like that match and the US title match being like as good as they were and the tag team match being fun and good and most importantly like what a well-rounded show for the women. Like I know that like we can nitpick what should have been better or what match was better like we were kind of talking about, but like to have 10 women on the card and I genuinely care about over half of them. Like that sounds, like a pity party, but that's news for where women's wrestling has been. So I'm excited about that. One of these years they could let a women fucking main event, but I not yet. Not yet.
No.
Yeah. So
this is only the 40th one.
you break too many barriers at once, people will get mad at you.
That's right. That's the lesson here.
So BC. So my last question to you, Zach, as we wrap up this ranker thing is now that you've watched Mania, what's the one match that can be built from this you're most excited to see? Is it Cody versus someone? Is it, Rock somebody? Logan?
I guess my Logan. Maybe Logan, actually. My first question to you is obviously we saw afterwards, not in the main broadcast, but like videos everywhere. Roman and Heyman sort of crying on stage and embracing and stuff. Do you think Roman goes into a big long break, or do you think he's going to get back to it?
I think Roman gets ambushed by the rest of the bloodline. I think he gets kicked out with Heyman. I think Heyman's like his buddy. I would love if Heyman stuck around and that's Roman's way back in. I think that's kind of fun, but I think that's what happens is we build up to Roman Rocket next year.
Sure.
Roman also revealed on night one he's like going through active leukemia treatments. Nothing that like should stop, but I think time off will be good from the things he was saying. So that would be my guess is there's more of that, but I think the bloodline could be done. We're recording this as Raw started. I think it could be done tonight or Friday.
Interesting. Okay. It's not a specific feud, I guess. I'm excited to see what Randy Orton does. Truthfully.
I wonder if they will pivot because I think pretty clearly the plan was LA Knight, Logan at SummerSlam.
Okay.
and because they held off because I think they want that in Logan's hometown. I don't know now because I want Randy everything. I'd be fine if
Yeah.
Randy was is Randy Cody's first opponent, because like he was Cody's mentor. You missed that part of his career, but like he was Cody's mentor and led a stable he was in, and like we can just get like a feel good feud
Sure.
while we wait for bloodline stuff. That'd be good. But yeah, I think that's awesome that people are so excited about Randy. So I think that's
Yeah.
really good. For me, I am gonna go. Let me pick an obvious one and not obvious one. Obviously, I'm pumped for Drew Punk. I think
Yeah.
Drew CM
Yeah.
Punk, when all of the shit that CM Punk can say and be right about, is gonna be awesome.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
oh,
he's
you
gonna
had
be
your
great.
moment, and I didn't do anything. So I think that'll be good. And I think they're going to play their cards right. And we get that in Scotland. And I think that Punk wants to be hated. And so I think
Yeah.
that's going to be great. So
Yeah.
that's the obvious one. The not obvious one. Um, I'm really excited about Jade Cargill. And we kind of teased it, but like Jade Bianca, I think, is the obvious thing. I don't think we get Jade and Rhea in the same ring for like a year. And I think all of a sudden it happens and we're like, Jesus Christ. Like what, how many men die while those two like go to war? So I think it's the first time in maybe forever that I'm like, these two women stars are as over as, to me, as anything else in the company. So I'm excited for that, and I hope they beat the shit out of each other. But I would say that are the things I'm most excited about. I'm anticipating, just because we touched on him, I wonder if Brock comes back. I really wonder what his status in the company will be, because I don't want him back if the allegations are proven true.
Sure.
But if he's able to come back, there's so much for him.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to resist that for me. But
I mean, bring him back. Who cares? If the
I mean-
allegations are true that he's a heel. I'm pretty strong heel. That's
pretty strong heel. That is true. God, is it too late for him versus Dominic?
No, it's not. We
That's
can
awesome.
do it.
Yeah, we could do it tonight. I hope it's happening on Raw. So
kick off
good.
the show.
And by the way, next Mania, Braun Breaker will be here. So that'll be fun too.
Do you think Heyman goes with Breaker or no?
If he was telling the truth, Heyman said he's with Roman until he's done. Now, while Roman's gone, I like the idea of him going with Jay. Like kind of going with the bloodline that's not going to be supporting Rock. Everyone thinks that now we'll kind of get Rock splits up, starts his own thing, and then the Usos eventually rejoin Roman. So I think Heyman does that. I'd love if I mean Heyman and Braun is great. I don't think Braun needs him. I think he's very funny. I think if you're cool with him being a dumb jock who's stronger than everybody. I don't think anyone ever said Scott needed a mic man. Just no one knew how to treat Scott.
Fair. That's fair. Yeah.
So you want
Electric
him to
on the
talk less? No way. I want him to have to talk for 10 minutes.
All his booty mamas. Yeah, for sure. They're all for sure.
Fake teeth.
Yeah. Okay, so this was the ranking show and the FlurrySports podcast.
That's right.
The God tier match, obviously, Cody Roman Night 2. Spoiler alert.
Closely
Worst
followed
match,
by the Philadelphia Street Fight.
Yeah, I'm so good. So good. Worst match is the Usos. And is that pretty widely?
Yeah, pretty widely. It's like the one match they're like, why was this on the card?
Okay, fair enough. Now we are going to be doing some business stuff on the air here, Jake. This is what I'm going to ask you. Do you think we throw our game to next week? Do we just end the show and leave the people wanting more?
No.
The people need Pete. They need the Pete's.
I think the people need Pete, and it's related to college basketball.
Kind of, not really though.
Kind of, not really. Listen, I don't get paid enough to make these decisions. Unfortunately, I'm not sure you do either. But if I had a vote, we've teased it. Like, I think some people will skip through some of the stuff we just talked about to get to Pete.
Okay. I mean, they always do. They always do. So this was the ranking show. If you enjoyed this, go over to the Flurry Sports podcast. We got another half an hour of show that I think you will really enjoy. It's a long show, but I mean, this is going to be not even close to the longest show we've done.
No.
We've done a Marvel movie worth of
30 minutes of Pete feels like 23 minutes of us.
At least, yeah, for sure. So like and subscribe to the ranking show, like and subscribe to the Flurry Sports podcast, and let's just go over to that game. Let's see if I can win it. Okay, it's game time once again. Our third game, and we're even, right?
Yes, correct. Even Steven.
Yes, I won the $20 in victorious fashion in first episode of the season. I don't know what number it is. But then last week, you stormed back with the movie mashup game. We're even. We're back at zero. I think that's what we're saying. We're not saying both get $20. We're back at zero. Yes. And Jake, you have a game this week where I can earn $10. Again, every single week we're keeping track. Someone's earning $10 every week, unless we bet a little bit, Shohei Ohtani style.
That's right.
One of us gets a little bit more. But explain the game this week. What do we got?
Well, I will say much anticipated, folks. I'm very excited about it. I think excited about how it turned out. We'll see. Pete may have played it too close to the vest, but this game is called Pete's Perspectives. My dad, Pete Osmond, for fans of the Playing Catch Up podcast, new episodes this week. Plug. But for fans of that, you know my dad, but Zach definitely knows him. Uncle Pete, they call him. But for this game,
a lot of people do.
That's right. A lot of people do. About 10 people to be exactly. But short and sweet, Dad is describing sports figures in this. I have cut out the pieces where I ask him, hey, how do you feel about so-and-so? And that is exactly the question. How do you think and how do you feel about so-and-so? And Dad just gives his thoughts as he discovers and as Zach will discover. It turns out a lot of the people asked about he doesn't like, and he was like, do I get anyone here that I like? And I'm like, I don't know. For Zach to not make it impossible, we've got 10 stops today. To make it timely, these are all related to college sports. As we record this on the eve of the championship game, happening as we record or right after we record. So most, Zach, all either football or basketball.
Okay.
All are currently relevant. Not every entry is a current coach, but they have made news or are relevantly talked about overall.
And they're all coaches?
They are all coaches, Zach, except the wild card.
You got to watch out for the wild card.
Got to watch out for the wild card. That's right. It's the Jefferson rule. There's one in here that is not a coach and is not really related to college athletics at all. Is a sports person. Okay. If you get that person right, 2 points. You need 7 points to win this game.
Okay. I think this is going to be tough. I'm excited for this.
Okay, and I'm not, because I re-listened to the tape after Lindsay correctly called out I got grilled by you in week 1. I'm not going to give you any tips, but I do think it's fun when you ask questions and things that think out loud, but I may do a better job of not answering you, depending on how it goes. But I think it comes across pretty clear, so we'll get started, and you just get to guess who it is.
Okay, we'll see how this first one goes. Again, so Jake just asked his dad, how do you feel about this person, right?
Correct.
Okay, here we go.
Interesting. I think that he was one of those that doesn't immediately strike like hatred in you, but at the same, good first players, fairly arrogant. My issue with him is some of his friendships with with other coaches that I really, 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 really don't like. He holds some of those coaches in high esteem, and I think that they should be castrated and then shot. And
Whoa.
so
Hardest quote, by
while
the way.
I don't really, really dislike him, I dislike his taste. My guess is we wouldn't be buddies when it came to the political thing, and I have no idea what his political thing is.
Like it line up. No.
So that's what I think about him.
Okay.
Okay. Wow.
Came out the gate strong, by the way. That's how I knew this was going to be a good game when he hit him with the "I hope they're castrated" and then shot line. Yeah.
Yeah, that took me by surprise. I had somebody in mind the entire time, but then honestly, when he said, I thought he was going to say he is friends with coaches he really likes, and he's mad about that, but it's coaches he really hates, as we've found out. I'm trying to think of what I can ask that even makes sense, because I don't think I should be able to ask sport. Personally, I don't think.
No, I feel okay giving this, I guess, hint, because I don't want to be the thing that leads you astray. This person, not currently coaching, and I would say like the least out of our list, like he's not in a news story this week or anything like that.
Okay, so how do we want to do this? Because I have someone in mind. Do I get one guess and we're done? Incorrect? Correct?
I think you get one clarifying question, your choice. I don't care if you ask sport, because I've given you a 50-50 shot. So if you want to waste it on basketball, football, go for it. But I'll give you one clarifying question for each person.
Okay, okay. But I get one guess at there.
Correct. One clarifying question, one guess.
Okay, I'm gonna go hot. Not a current coach. So did this person most recently coach in the SEC?
No.
Okay, it's not Nick Saban. That's who I was really banking on. Political, not currently a coach, not currently a college coach. Could be an NFL coach. Okay, for the people listening at home, I was trying to read Jake. He didn't get it.
I don't want to lead you astray in the game. Everyone here, besides our wild card, which this could be our wild card. Did I start you with the wild card? I don't know. Everyone besides our wild card, famous for college coach. I didn't even do like
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
right. I was saying they may still be a coach, but they may not be a college
interesting.
Coach.
I wouldn't go that route.
Okay, so it's not Jim Harbaugh. Okay.
No.
Really, who is it? The political thing kind of threw me for a loop, I think.
I thought that was the least helpful part, because all of these pricks probably don't line up with my dad.
I am going with Coach K.
He found it, folks. He found his groove.
Wow, really?
There. Yep, Coach K. I was like, oh, he's totally on the football front. No, absolutely. It's Coach K.
I was just trying to think of recently retired coaches. I have no idea of Coach K's politics, by the way, but
okay. I don't think anyone knows anything about him. I actually thought my dad's thought on it. I kind of agree with. Yeah, Pete's got a good read on him. Okay, you're 1 for 1. A little more hand holding than I think I'll do the rest of the way. So go ahead, Zach. Take your stab at number 2.
Okay, Coach 2.
Do not care for him.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to be an entitled piece of crap. Always one of the coaches that always in my mind seems to, say we need to have accountability. It's Jimmy's fault. But I don't care for him as a whole. I also think that if he was as good as he thought he was, he wouldn't be coaching where he is now. He'd move either to a different college conference, or the pros.
Yeah, he seems hard to work with.
Yes. He also seems to me phony, like he's one of these guys, first pew of the church as he's dating the nun in the bag.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Okay. So I had one person in mind, and the church comment may have helped me
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping it did. Does this person also coach? Well, I guess Coach K doesn't coach anymore. Does this person coach in the ACC?
Correct.
It's Dabo.
It's 100% Dabo.
Wow.
2 for 2.
Wow. I mean, I don't know why I even thought that, because truly the hints are Pete doesn't like him. He's entitled. He blames his players. Could be anybody.
For sure. I will say he starts to get it here. Coach K, I think, is going to be the hardest. He gets more descriptive as he goes in the game because he gets used to it. I think you are correct at like, this is not a bad hint. Like, it's a good rule the first time you've ever played the game. Dad gets more descriptive at the end of his sentences. So I think here the big hints were, why hasn't he moved schools? And
right. Yeah.
The church comment was good. Yeah, we've got some coming up, Zach, that you're just going to have to guess how much does he hate people, which, is going to be fun. But yeah, this one was also one of my favorites just because the straight out of the gates, I do not care for him. It's a good one.
Nobody does. So he's spot on. Okay. Coach number 3.
Has come close. He's probably my second least favorite coach in college sports. Not only, I mean, he's had immense success, but he's covered up for his players for years. He's, in my opinion, should be criminally liable for some of the stuff that's happened to people at their place. Another one that's really, they all are going to be somewhat arrogant, but he comes off as a golly gee, I'm all about doing it the right way. He's had kids play for him that shouldn't be in school, like they all have, and he's covered up for kids with sexual assault stuff, that kind of stuff. So he's not my favorite. I'm sensing a pattern here. I don't like anybody.
I think I've got maybe 3 people on this list you like. So there you go. Little meta hint for you, Zach. There you go.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want to cut that off. Okay. This one's tricky. So, second least favorite coach, which
I will review to you number 1 if it helps all time, because it's not someone I asked about. Because Bob Knight.
Oh, okay. So
hates Bob Knight. I may have gotten a good riddance text on the.
So this is his least favorite current coach.
Yeah, the least favorite still living coach. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And then covered up for players with sexual assault. Kind of a hint, kind of not, unfortunately.
Sadly, not as much a hint as maybe it should be. Yeah.
A
lot of success. Yeah.
A lot of success, right? Not Brian Kelly. I don't think, I mean, he's not a current coach, but not Saban. Izzo was one that kind of initially came to mind. So could be Izzo. I have a clarifying question. I don't even know what would help get me in the right sphere at this point, but
I think the most basic question would be helpful to you here.
Okay, so I'm guessing it's a football coach. So I'm not going to ask that. I'm going to say, well, can I ask what conference he coaches in?
Yeah, I'll tell you. He's Big Ten.
Okay. So going through the Big Ten coaches, it's that fucking Greg Gard. Not really. I wish it was. Well, maybe. No, it's not. He doesn't have sexual
Pete knows something? Yeah.
I was just trying to think. Football's had sexual assault stuff, not basketball.
Correct.
Could be Izzo. I don't. Juwan Howard got fired, right?
Mm-hmm. But again, relevant. I'm not telling you it's Juwan, but just for later ones, like, yeah, they're not all current coaches. They're just all relevant.
Oh, it's a relevant coach, not a current coach?
The only one who kind of fell out of that is Coach K. I'm just letting you know there are some folks who aren't going to be active coaches this year. You know, some you've circled around. This one obviously isn't Saban. Saban's not a current coach. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Harbaugh's not a current college coach. He's a current coach.
You don't have to worry about that. It's college coaches. That's what they're known for and famous for.
There's someone very obvious that I'm not thinking about. And I guess Big Ten, man. It's not Urban Meyer. I'm just gonna guess Izzo. I really can't think of anybody else.
It's Izzo.
Oh, it is? Okay.
It's
okay.
Izzo. Dad, you stumbled on something. Dad hates Big Ten coaches.
Well, yeah. That's who,
you know, he's Badgers fan. And so to have the devil within, you know,
True.
like he's so close. Yeah, he loves Izzo. I did cut out the part because it was too obvious. He was like, the only one who likes how much he pushes people is Draymond Green. I hate him too.
Yeah, that would have been a nice giveaway. You hate Izzo too. And I think most people do. I like Izzo. I guess also the institution thing kind of led me to Michigan State as well. But yeah.
Yeah. I thought for a second when you were so hooked on football, you didn't even bring up Paterno. I was like, he's going to get stuck on Paterno, but
he's not current.
I know, but I'm going to get bitched at you one way or another. So I'm trying to play it clean down the middle. All right. So you are 3 for 3. You have not stumbled upon our double dare yet.
I'm excited for that one. Will be coached 4. Let's hear.
Sorry. Well, he's this coach is a conundrum. Big word for you, because extremely knowledgeable about the game, like they all are. But I mean, has gotten more out of his talent of his players than a lot of coaches. Driven, hardworking, prickish.
For sure.
Cheated on his wife, kind of guy, you know.
Yeah. Good coach.
Unbelievably good coach who's had I think a tree of success around him with other coaches, highly respected by other coaches.
Yeah.
But probably not the kind of guy you want to go on vacation with. You know, very intense.
Yeah. Seems that way.
Yeah. But got a lot of talent out of his players, has had tons of success at the places he's been at different levels. So there you go.
I like that.
Okay.
A little more favorable, huh?
More favorable. This person's not a current coach, is he?
Mm-mm.
This is Bo Ryan.
This is Bo Ryan. I thought he was going to drift you a little bit. What clued you in? The cheating on the wife thing?
Cheating on the wife. Intense. My favorite bit, one of my favorite bits from my friends in high school was just doing anything wrong. Like someone would do something wrong, pretend to be Sam Decker, and then Bo Ryan would just stare at him until he wanted to die, essentially. It's one of my favorite bits just from Wisconsin basketball. It's like if you turn the ball over, you just put your head down and start walking towards the bench. Like you don't even go back on defense. You're like, oh, I'm sorry, Bo. And he just got elected to the Hall of Fame, obviously.
Correct. He's the relevant one that I was trying not to very obviously point out, but like, you know, you sniffed through that. I thought the different institutions thing, but you held on to the intensity of Bo Ryan as all Wisconsin fans did. So that's good. But I thought he was going to lose you a tree of success.
Oh, no. I mean, Bennett.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple others, but mostly Bennett. Yeah.
So there you go. But okay, Zach, here we go. Hold on. I think I do have a disclaimer here.
Okay.
For Coach 5. Dad uses the word gagger. He means a cigarette.
Okay.
It gets clarified in clip, but it comes out of the gate, and I just need to make sure we don't get canceled on our first trip into Pete's Perspectives.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Fair enough. Here we go.
I think she just put out her Geiger. How about that? She strikes me as a barmaid at the corner, about 75. She used to play. She used to bowl at Wagner's over, made up with a Geiger hanging out of her mouth, and chasing the 40-year-old when she's 60.
Yeah.
How about that?
Geiger's a cigar.
No, Geiger's a cigarette. Mine.
Got it. Okay.
Anyway, my guess is she probably doesn't in recruiting cheat any more than a lot of them do.
Yeah.
She strikes me as the kind that doesn't really care a whole lot about the kid, more about winning. And that's probably true of a lot of them.
Yeah.
Obviously talented, knows what she finds a way to recruit really good players. So, but she's not my favorite.
No. What do you think about her wardrobe?
Most of it doesn't fit me.
It's a good line right at the end.
Pete with a zinger. Gotta be Kim Mulkey, right?
Yeah, or our neighbor, I guess. Yeah, it's Kim Mulkey. That is the most concerned I've ever been to one of these answers. He just started. I was like, "What are you doing? Like, you're gonna say something that gets us fired here." But yeah, it's Kim Mulkey putting out a Geiger, going bowling at the.
He went down an interesting path to start the answer for sure.
Do you get that vibe from her that she's like? Because I think she's like a upper crust. He thinks she's like she just crawled out of an alley.
Yeah, I think I'm more towards Pete. I think she's definitely smoking at halftime for sure.
Yeah. Also, retweet if you use the word Geiger.
True. How many cigarettes has she put out on that white girl's arm before? That made her transfer again.
All right, here we go, Zach.
Number 6.
Halfway through, 5 for 5. Great start. You need just 2 more points.
Okay, here we go. And the wild card is still here.
Oh, that's right. The wild card's out there.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, I like him fine. I think it's weird that you can make all the money he's made for years and years and years out of
guessing.
Yeah, and kind of a shtick, it's like, I seen him once, and he, if you compare him, to this and that and whatever, he might be good. Well, there you go. You're a genius.
Did it again.
Okay. So this is the wild card, ladies and gentlemen. And this has to be Mel Kiper, right?
It is Mel Kiper.
Wow. I love it. I'm happy about that. Pete did a good job that time.
Good job by Pete. Good description. I thought the impersonation was actually pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. He's done it before.
Yeah, I also love his like curious bewilderment at him. Like I kind of like him. I don't know how he makes his money.
Yeah, that's true. This is for sure. I would think the most positive he's been about a person so far.
Yes, that's true. I would say his most negative and most positive are still coming up.
Really? I mean, I guess he wasn't negative about Coach K, just more so the people he surrounds himself with.
Yeah. He was obviously, he hates Tom Izzo more than one of the people coming up, but it's a rage coming up. And to be honest, it might be coming up right now, Zach.
Wow. Okay. Coach number 7.
Afri.
Let me put it this way. I have higher esteem for dog shit than I do this coach. And he still probably isn't my least favorite coach.
No.
But he's really close to the bottom of the barrel. I mean, this jackass is from the Little Rascals comment, Darla, you're the scum between my toes. He is a unlikable, complete jerk, if there ever freaking was one.
Yeah.
And truth be told, I think that he did unspeakable things to his grandmother, and I can't prove it.
Can't prove it.
Now, I don't like him.
I will say that's the first one I asked, and I could hear your wife chuckling in the background when I asked about him. So I think that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder. I
All
have a
the
feeling
hits, right? All the hits there.
he did. I think you may not have edited the name out.
No comment.
Okay, so let's use all of our context clues that I'm going to say who I'm pretty sure it is. So he hates this person a lot, obviously, which
Hates
means
him.
close to home. Has to be within the conference. Enemies within the camp. I don't know is there a grandmother thing or is that just Pete?
Pete, that's Pete. That's the accusation he could hurl at someone that's worse than anything else. Yeah.
Okay, I was like, oh, there's a story I need to look up. I think it's Fran McCaffrey, which I'm siding with Pete on this one. That guy sucks.
It is Fran McCaffrey. Would you have gone it without the
I don't
name
think
left
so.
in?
I would maybe
Yeah.
I would have for sure thought Big Ten. But
I think part of the fun in that. So I'm really bummed that I didn't quite get it because I do think part of the fun is do I hate him? Sure. Does he occupy any of my brain power?
True.
No. So the fact that like dad
Yeah.
loathes him, like
yeah,
you couldn't quite hear it there, but my mom is cackling in the background because he can't fully watch Wisconsin Iowa games. Like he will get up and leave the room and come back. So he's not overly exposed to Fran McCaffrey.
I get it. Yeah, his family has to do that too. Just leave for a while, take vacations.
He did say I cut that part out, not the name fully, so maybe could have left the other part in. But I cut out the part where he's like, didn't do any crimes like any other coaches, but boy, is he unlikable.
Yeah, he's worse than them for sure.
There we go. All right, Zach, you now chasing something bigger than the win. You're chasing a perfect score.
God. And that's for pride, which is more than money. That's better than money. That's all I care about. Okay, here we go.
I have hopes. Again, what I will say about a lot of these guys that I don't like is I bet you they hate social media with a passion because they used to be thought of as people didn't know anything about their personal life or any of that other stuff. This guy here obviously can coach. He's very good, like all these guys.
But he's done it more places.
At different levels, had success. He's fine. Bent his girlfriend over a chair in a restaurant. What's the guy caught?
Yeah.
But his wife was not happy.
No, that was the report.
That was the report. Talented guy. I wonder if this guy here is going to have more trouble. He's still coaching.
Yeah.
But he's got to be 70.
Yeah.
Dealing with today's players because he is of the mindset that he's knows more than anybody and everybody and is not really willing to bend with today's players much.
Yeah.
So, but he's an arrogant.
Dragon. Oh my gosh, he's unlikable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just saying the same type of thing. It's just
Over
like,
and
oh
over.
God. It's so generic. I was like, oh, I hate that guy. Yeah, entitled. Are we sensing a pattern?
I will say Pete lets him have it, folks. This is this was good context to start. My dad is literally the most mild-mannered person you'll ever run into. So this level of like angst Ryan threw him is like a lot for him. So I like that he just let him have it with the girlfriend comment.
It is. And that sounds so familiar that I know this story, but I can't match it to the person. My question is, what conference do they coach in?
This is revealing, but I have to look it up.
Okay. I think I know who it is. Damn. I think they may have switched or stayed in the same conference.
Okay, go for it.
Or say the conference. Is it?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't even answer. Trying to get out of it. It's the Big East.
Oh. Okay, so not who I was thinking. Big East. Now I have to remember all the teams in the Big East now.
That's tough.
Yeah,
Died a couple deaths. Yeah.
Yeah. We got Villanova. We got Creighton. We have Marquette.
It's McDermott.
We got
Wow.
it's got to be McDermott. That son of a bitch. We got UConn. I don't think Hurley did anything. I can't remember where this coach coaches, but I'm just gonna say his name, I guess. I don't think he coaches in the Big East, but I'm gonna go with Pitino.
Ah, you found it. It's Patino.
It is Pitino.
St.
Okay.
John's is in the Big East.
Wow. I mean, that's big news. Good for them.
Good for St. John's. Damn, you landed on it anyway. That was the only hope. But yes, famously did screw his girlfriend in a restaurant.
The two coaches that immediately popped into my mind with that was Calipari and Pitino.
Yeah.
But then it's like both of them, I can't distinguish who did what at this point when they were in Kentucky and Louisville there, or in Memphis and wherever they've all gone. But yeah, okay, cool. Calipari switched schools, by the way, still in the SEC.
True.
We are at number 9. We got 2 left. Here we go.
Perfect score. Here you go.
Yeah.
I think he's underrated. I think this coach is underrated.
Wow.
I think that he gets unfairly. I mean, he's paid a lot of money, so but he gets judged unfairly for the place he's at and the amount that they win. You know, and so there's the deal that he hasn't made it to the, you know, all the way to the promised land type of deal.
Yeah.
If this university decides that it's time to cut ties, careful what you wish for, because
You do a lot worse.
you could do a lot worse.
Yeah. Take that, Zach.
Okay.
Snuck that in at the end.
Yeah, what was that about? Because it was so generic or what?
Yeah.
Or is it a school I hate? Or a person I hate?
No, I think it was about something that you did that you didn't get to hear.
Oh, okay. This one, I think every other one I've had a lean. I don't know if I have a lean right now. Never made it to the promised land, but he's a good coach. Obviously, that has to be the hint. And Pete seems to really respect this guy.
Hot seat.
Hot seat. I don't think it's Big Ten unless it's fucking Greg Gard. If Pete has his opinion on Greg Gard, I'm not going to be happy. It might be Greg Gard. Greg Gard.
It's Greg Gard. It's Greg Gard.
What? Bad opinion, Pete. That's not good.
He's such high esteem. He loves him so. Be careful what you wish for, he says.
He did say that. I'll be okay if we fire him. You know what? I'll risk it.
He hasn't quite made it to the promised land, Zach.
He has not. That's true. That's a fact. He has not done that. Okay. Pete. Okay. Last one. Perfect score. I'm going to be really bummed out if I lose on the very final question.
Here you go.
But yeah, here we go.
You don't loathe this.
No. I do not. He's, again, probably not anybody you'd want a vacation with.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for this guy. Part of it's the old guy thing in me a little bit that, you know, he possibly because he's still very successful, but a little more successful in the old type of college system where people couldn't leave. So he could have lots of recruits for one position type of deal. But no, I don't. Do I know that he was up and up? And I'm not saying he gives two shits in a hoot about academics.
Well, that's the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't think he does. But 99% of them don't. They don't care. No, I think he's one of the greatest college coaches.
Mm-hmm. Would you take him on vacation?
Well, he'd have to pay.
Stinger right at the end for you.
Yeah, tough standards by Pete. I'm gonna go. I don't want any hints. I don't want nothing.
Can I make one quick comment? Two shits in a hoot.
Two shits in a
Underrated.
hoot. Yeah. Honestly, yeah. Not bad. I think this is Nick Saban.
Zach, you've just gone 10 for 10.
Woo! There we go. There we go.
Wow.
10 up pride. I'm surprised, honestly. I thought it was going to be, I mean, it was tough. None of them were easy.
In hindsight, I really held your hand on Coach K. I should have
Kind of, but like
kind of. But no, so this is the first time we played that game. I think Dad did a good job
yes.
towing the line. He was pretty undescriptive. I think we could have been more random than Mel Kiper, but it was
For
a good
sure.
squeeze in.
I mean, I think the biggest giveaway was the Mel Kiper one. So it was random, but he described it in such a way where it's like it has to be him.
Correct.
But,
I think so too. That or Kim Mulcahy.
Yes, true. Yeah, that's true. But people at home, I think, may have struggled a little bit more. I think because I know your dad, I kind of got some of it. But I will say, you may have held my hand with Coach K. I tried to distinguish pretty fucking hard. Are they a current coach? Are they not a current coach? And the entire time I was still playing that game with every single one.
The only piece that maybe you would have gone off the rails is I think you, and I'm glad I didn't give this hint because you went perfect. I was a little worried on the first one, like you were so football oriented.
Yeah, that's true.
That was the only thing.
Adjusted.
When the only two football coaches on here are Dabo and Saban.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, but no, I think the folks at home, if I had to guess, had a much harder time with Bo Ryan. I thought that was impressive because cheating on wife and being intense to a non-Wisconsin fan is not that descriptive of a college basketball coach.
It honestly would have been the first two things I said about Bo Ryan, who I love.
For sure.
He's one of my favorite coaches of all time, and I would have led with that.
And the mix of like Dad obviously likes him.
Right. Yeah. The Wisconsin, little different tone for the Wisconsin coaches versus some of the others.
Well, Pete's loyal. That's why Pete would never fire a coach, and I appreciate that. True. Yeah, the Grey Guard one's wild. The Grey Guard one's wild. What's the best? We'll end it this way. What's the best line he had in the whole thing?
I mean, there was okay.
Yeah, is there one that sticks with you? Because for me, I love the Little Rascals reference.
That one confused me. I will say that one was.
McCaffrey, you are the scum between my toes.
I mean, that's like that. Really, he was going as hard as he could. He could have just said, "I fucking hate that guy," and it wouldn't have hit as hard.
No, that's like people often ask me, "What is your dad's like go-to swear word?" He he swore at cows when he farmed, but like he didn't like mean it. He does that when he's like really angry, like it's some kind of deep-held metaphor.
That's true. Oh, we're back from the game. We didn't just record the first half of the show. We're here. And I won the game. And Pete made, honestly, Pete's performance was MVP worthy. It was incredible.
It was MVP worthy. He's nervous about it. So I think,
really?
Kudos to Pete. People learned what a gagger was. It was a good moment for everybody. Two shits in the hoop, made a good comeback. So
he had some aggressive moments, but I think he came off as endearing to the people.
I was so close to asking him what he thought of Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, for sure. A little heartwarming in there.
Yeah, it's so funny. He loves Jimmy Carter. We in real life, pulling back the curtain for a bit, Zach and I have real life not doing great medically grandparents. And I'm not sure if I've heard my dad more emotional than he's like, I don't think Jimmy's going to make it. And I was like, oh, little did he know, by the way, Jimmy's hospice ain't what it used to be. And Jimmy's proof of that. But all that said, fun game for this week, Zach. I mean, we'll just end things on anything else you need to talk about this week? Anything funny for the people? What are your thoughts on the eclipse?
It was incredible. I think Caitlin Clark probably made the eclipse happen as well. She is God's gift to everything.
She's going to Indiana, and so is the eclipse. So
that is true. Diana Trossi or whatever. I think she
Yeah.
doesn't like Caitlin Clark. So she can go straight to hell. Undertaker could take her too. But I don't know. We're entering into a weird time in sports. We're just about to start the NHL NBA playoffs. So
Yeah.
maybe that'll be interesting. NHL will be. NBA, is it am I just on the outside, or is it drastically uninteresting? I don't know.
They have done such a poor job getting us
Yeah.
to care about the teams who are actually good.
And I gotta tell you, I already saw the NBA finals. It was the NBA Cup. We could have ended the season there.
We could end it there. You know, it's going to be funny. You and I are going to be forced to care about it, potentially, the playoffs.
Oh, I'm sure one way or another, I'm going to be all in. I can tell you that.
Yes, I won't be. That's not a possibility for me, but there could be, which is this, I don't know if I've ever cared less about NBA basketball, and it might be the Timberwolves year.
It's not.
That's what you think. If they win a championship, I can't wait to hear what you say about Rudy Gobert.
That will be bad. That'll be painful. However, not knowing exactly where the standings are, other than Timberwolves being in the 1 seed, I believe, I still stand on my preseason prediction or early season prediction of Timberwolves getting a high seed and the Warriors beating them first round.
All I know is I've never been more disappointed by someone than Tyrese Halliburton. I just started caring about him. He's not that good.
He can shoot, kinda, sometimes. He can pass.
Sometimes. I don't know.
The boy can pass.
The boy can pass. He's overrated, and Draymond Green needs counseling. That's what I've learned this season.
That's the NBA, baby. That's what they got.
That is what they got. The Lakers are bad. LeBron's just like straight up cranky.
LeBron's making his son join the NBA sooner because he wants to leave.
That is funny. That is good. Meanwhile, NHL's great. I can't name 3 players yet. But
still waiting for that. NHL needs to market themselves better. This past week, they had one of the fastest fights of all time, 2 seconds into the game, where everyone dropped their mitts and just started throwing hands. That's awesome.
I do love that. I wish that happened in the street.
Yeah, not on ice where it's all slippy.
Yeah, sound goes off and we're just fighting in the intersection. I think that'd be good.
True. Yeah, interesting time in sports. Things will start to heat up. We got the NFL draft coming. That'll dominate all the headlines while other sports are actually going on.
That's right. By the way, baseball actively happening.
Baseball, your dad and Emily suffered a tough week 1.
They did. They lost in fantasy baseball. It was tough, especially because they were like, we can't lose to Zach. And I was like, I think you might.
Watch out. I want to go out on this note, unless you have anything else.
No. I'm desperate for you to say something of interest.
Okay. So one last WrestleMania thing, and I got to tell you, I think it's going to be the title of the podcast. I'm going to milk this for all it's worth. So I watched it with Lindsay.
Yeah.
Knows very little about wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
She used to watch old Rock promos, so she liked that.
Great.
She ended up liking Randy Orton.
Nice.
She couldn't remember Seth Rollins' name for the entire time in a very D'Angelo D'Artagnan type of way.
Yeah.
So when she tried to say Seth freaking Rollins, she knew it was a very white name, and what she came up with was, oh, that's Jason freaking Bateman.
That's good. That's good.
It was very good. She's like, I just know it's something white. What's his name? And I'm like, that is a pretty white name. I never really thought about that.
My last WrestleMania takeaway, how come I'm never surprised by what celebrity's there? Oh, Drewski's in a wrestling? Yeah, it's like, wow, never would have guessed. Lil Wayne. Yeah.
Snoop had his moment again, too. Which
Snoop did have his moment. Snoop lied about how many people were there.
He had to get a 420 reference in there. Yeah.
That's so good. Thank you for listening to the show. We hope you enjoyed. Next time, we hope you listen. And in the meantime, don't listen to the nerds. Look right at it. Look up. Soak it in.
How am I supposed to see the sun with sunglasses on?
All year they tell you don't look at the sun. Now it's gone and I can't look at it.
You know who's telling you not to look at the sun? People who want you to miss it.
They're looking at it.
Yeah, exactly. Don't look at the sun. Look away. Well, I'll tell you what it looks like. Don't worry. You can
That's
trust
right. Have
me.
you ever known a millionaire who didn't look at the sun? No.
So let's get moving, swing to the Flurry Sports groove.